Hi guys. I am about to go back inside. I'm obviously in the car, but I just wanted to say that I ended up signing up for, they offered a free 7-day trial, no credit card required. So literally free, you know what I mean? Not this, I cannot do the like, oh, if you cancel within, I'm not going to remember, you know? Um, and it's about NLP, I think. So I'm just excited. I keep taking these steps and I'm telling myself too, you know, this is just for me to immerse myself to the extent I can in this knowledge and this support, like even if it's like online from experts of like, oh, because awareness is the first step to changing anything, right? And there's so much power in awareness because when you have awareness that you're doing something you don't want to do, then you can, you know, um, not create, but discover awareness of why you're doing it. And it's just so exciting because I realize, you know, I had this epiphany today of everything is a pattern. Everything is a pattern? Is that what I'm thinking of? A pattern? What am I thinking of? Like practice, you know? I can't think of, I think it's a pattern. I cannot think right now, to be honest. Um, Pattern does not sound right. But anyway, my point is everything's like a practice. And so if, you know, let's say you have, you know, you feel like you have social anxiety, and when you really drill it down, it's like, well, when I try to go out at night, you know, this happens, right? And so it's like a pattern that you're repeating, right? And you back off from breaking through the pattern because it's so uncomfortable. And I know uncomfortable is such a downplay. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like literally speaking, like it's excruciating. And I'm still trying to think of the word, to be honest. But anyway, and so that's why when going through the waterfall, you're breaking the pattern. You're changing the pattern. If it's like, oh, when A happens, I do B and then C happens, right? But when you actually start to see that, and it's not that you go A, B, C and nothing happens, like you're going to come up against the resistance because the resistance is saying, hey, we know what happens when we do this. So this is safe. It's not comfortable, or it's not, yeah, it might not even be comfortable, honestly, but it's familiar. It's familiar. So if we try to go out, if we feel like we have social anxiety, and in the past we have tried to go out and we've been met with this resistance and we didn't know what it was, you know, and then so we back away from the waterfall because it's like, oh yeah, that's right. When I do this, this happens. We're just repeating the pattern. And like I said, it's not just about practice, it's about safe practice. And it's about realizing that there's nothing wrong with you. And what I mean by that is there's nothing inherently wrong with you. You're not defective. You're not defective. You're not defective. You're not the problem. Your brain has learned certain patterns that kept you alive. So they were useful in the past. So they're not even the enemy. They're really not. So when you start to do something new, your brain's like, nope, because we don't know if that's safe or not. And even though this thing that we do, this pattern, we don't feel like it's comfortable, but the facts are that we are still alive and we ran that pattern. So your brain's like, okay, so that pattern works. Your pattern doesn't care how you feel per se. It's like, hey, you did A, you're living, so keep doing A. Even if B is a much better choice and it like expands your world and everything, right? So like if you're single and you're alive and especially if you've had bad experiences with relationships, right? Then your brain has learned, your nervous system has learned that single is safe, right? Even if you don't want to be single, but single safe. So when you try to go for a relationship, which is a risk, it's a risk for anybody, right? But especially if, your brain, your nervous system's like, oh, no, we don't even know what this is. Let's go back to being single because that's safe. It doesn't care that you want to expand your world. It cares about keeping you literally safe. So that is why I'm in such uncomfortableness a lot. I'm reminding myself, that is why I'm in such uncomfortableness a lot of the time, because I'm breaking these lifelong patterns that I've had to have. I don't have to have them anymore, right? And so the way that patterns show up for me is, shaking, like stomach issues, extreme fatigue, emotions, right? And it's trying to keep me safe. It's like, oh, wait, you're not safe to have any emotion, so you can't get close to anyone because then you might have emotion because, human beings. So therefore, you can't get close to anyone. Meanwhile, me, like my real self, is so, sad because it's like, I want to get close to people, So I hope this helps. I need to go in, but I just want to say, I think it is patterned. Everything's just a pattern. So the next time that you even think about taking a step in a new direction and you feel like all sorts of whatever, that's a good sign, because that means that you're approaching something new. And so what's going to show up is the old pattern. So our job is to make the familiar unfamiliar and the unfamiliar familiar. And just remind yourself that your brain does not, I think it's your nervous system. It doesn't care. It cares about you feeling safe, period. That's all. And safe to it means familiar. So I have a theory. That's why people who have certain upbringings or whatever, they don't even have to go through this because that's familiar to them. It's like, well, yeah, duh. But if you haven't had that, and so you're rewiring everything, it's going to feel foreign. It's going to feel, why is it so hard for me to do things that other people just get to take for granted? This is why. Because we're breaking those patterns. So I hope this helps. Like I said, I love you guys. And I need to go make dinner quickly, which I believe I still have meat that's cooked. If I don't, I can cook the rest of the meat quickly. And then we're going to have that salad again. And I am going to do yoga. We did do Ring Fit before I came out to the car. I wasn't sure if I'd have time, but I managed to make it work. And yeah, I'm just reminded, it was another massive day, trust me. But that's because I'm facing and breaking these patterns. And the fact is, if I didn't have all the responsibility I also have, then I would just rest afterwards. But I'm still doing it. And I'm doing it to be the example of it can be done. And hey, at the end of the day, if I can still reach for my dreams, but I have to tap every hour, or you know what I mean? Or the other option is just to become a statistic or, whatever, then I'll tap, right? Like, I'm just reminding myself, like, it's going to take a lot of effort on my part at the beginning because this is all new to me. This is me defying all odds, like truly. And yet it's happening, right? But it's going to feel like a marathon every day because this is all new to me, all at the same time, while still being there for my daughter 100% in everything, right? And everything on my shoulders, like, yeah. And yet I'm doing it, right? And so, and every time that I release emotion, I feel better. So it's like, okay, so this is going to be the new pattern, but it's going to take a while, potentially, And so when I signed up for that free thing, I'm going to listen to that. And then I've got that book. And part of me was like, and then I thought, hey, if the other option is to be miserable, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And if this doesn't work, okay, then I'll try something else, But the facts is that I have multiple moments of joy every single day. Like joy, not just like, oh, I got through the day. I can get through the day. That's not what I'm aiming for. I think of, there's a scene in Toy Story, at the end of Toy Story, and they are trying to get into the moving truck because the toys have been left behind. And they go through this whole adventure and everything. And at the end, they're flying, and they fly over the moving truck. And Woody goes, Buzz, you missed the moving truck. You missed the target. He goes, our target isn't the moving truck. And they go over the moving truck, and they land in the car, in the moonroof was open, and they land in the box next to Andy. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm doing. I'm not going for the moving truck. I'm going for the car. If that makes no sense, it doesn't even matter. But I think you know what I mean. I'm looking to have the best life possible, not based on my circumstances, but like, how can I enjoy the juice of life, enjoy it, the most possible. And every day I'm figuring out more and more. So, and then I'm possibly able to help others even more, which, like I said, is like my life's mission for sure. So, and like I said, and the most important, obviously, is I'm seeing it in my daughter every single day. So I'm like, yeah, I actually do know what I'm doing. I actually do provide a lot of value. And so what is the problem? And then that's when you have to dig into, what's stopping you. But it's a blessing. It's a good thing. It's a good sign when you feel the resistance, because you're feeling resistance because you're trying something new. It's a good thing. Remember, it's like a physical workout. The first time you lift up a heavy weight, it's going to feel really heavy. It's going to be hard, but it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do it. And it doesn't mean that's not something that's going to better your life, right? So, okay, anyway, love you guys.